Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Jonesboro. Today we have with us Eric Simmons from the Jonesboro Fire Department. Eric is a 20-year veteran firefighter and he's the division chief of the training division at the fire department. And today we're going to talk about fire prevention in general, and October is Fire Prevention Month. So Eric, welcome. Thanks for being on the show with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, like I said, October is Fire Prevention Month nationwide, and I know that's something that the fire department is focused on all the time. But is there anything particular that the fire department is doing in October as Fire Prevention Month that's even more special?
Well, our goal really is to protect life and property. And so this month we're going to focus on trying to teach people how to prevent fires. And then if they have a fire, then we want to teach them how to get out of that fire or what to do in case of a fire so that we can protect that life and that property. So we will be accomplishing our goal that we have every day.
Do you have any special events planned for this month?
We have several events going on right now that we have planned. We have several schools that we're going to go visit. And then we also have some safety events that we're doing with some of the businesses in town also. When we go to the schools and things, we'll take a fire engine out and let the guys go visit with the students there. And what we do is we teach them about fire safety. We usually try to get dressed in our turnout gear so that when we go into their house that they're not afraid of us. So we try to teach them that we're here to help, not to be scared of us, and to come to us if they're still in there. And so then we'll show them the fire engine and let them look at everything on the fire engine, really describing all of the different equipment that we have on it, the tools that helps us to do our job, and then hopefully let them sit in it or give them a fire helmet or a coloring book, something to help them to remember what we've talked about.
I bet you guys have a lot of fun doing that with the kids.
They do enjoy it. It's nice to get out there interacting with the children. A lot of them really enjoy being firefighters or seeing firefighters, so it's nice to.
Oh yeah, you got to love the big red truck.
Yep, that's right.
So, what are your top five? Give me your top 5 fire prevention tips. What's number 1?
Well, one thing we want to tell everyone is don't play with matches or lighters. So a lot of kids, they like looking at those, they like playing with them, they're intrigued by fire, and so we say don't do that because a big fire starts very small. So if they're playing with that, then they can not only hurt themselves, but they can also burn their house down.
Well, I remember reading about some of the wildfires and things that have happened that it could be just somebody tossing a cigarette butt out a window.
Yep.
So don't be very careful with fire. What's another one?
Well, we also want to let everyone know what to do in case they catch on fire. So if your clothes catch on fire or something like that, then we want to teach them stop, drop, and roll. So it's a way to put the fire out without running and going crazy and allowing that fire to get bigger.
So what is the most common cause of fire in someone's home?
Usually it's a cooking fire.
Cooking,
According
okay.
to the United States Fire Administration, 48% of all residential fires are started because of cooking.
So that would be somebody putting something on the stove and not paying attention to it, walking away, doing something else?
Leaving it unattended. A lot of times, I was thinking about it myself, a lot of times I'll put something on the stove and I'll go sit down in my recliner. And here it is in the evening after you've got off work, and next thing you know, you're dozing, and then you've left it unattended, now it can start on fire. So we always say, carry something with you if you're going to sit down in your chair, or don't sit down in your chair. But if you do, have a spatula or spoon or something like that so that you can remember, hey, I'm still cooking something.
Well, that's a good idea, yeah. Now, I also know that grease fires are, when we're talking about cooking and we're talking about fires being started that way, grease fires are especially dangerous. Why is that?
Well, you don't want to put water on that. And a lot of times when we see fire, the first thing we think of is put water on it. And if we do that, it causes it to flash. Okay. So we don't want that to happen. So never put water on a grease fire.
So if you have a pan that you're sauteing something in and for whatever reason it catches on fire, whether it's cooking oil or butter or any kind of grease, don't ever throw water on it.
Don't put water on it.
It could actually almost kind of explode,
it does.
can it?
It just makes it pop real bad, and the next thing you know, you've got a bigger fire than what you originally had.
Okay.
So what we would do on that is you can put a lid on top of it.
Smother it?
Smother it down.
Okay.
You could also, once you do that, you can turn the heat off. So now you're taking away a second part of that triangle the fire triangle there. So you can do those two things and then call the fire department and let us come and make sure that it hasn't extended anywhere into your cabinets or attic or anything like that.
So no one should ever be afraid to call the fire department if there's ever a fire or anything like that.
That's our job. So just let us know. Even if you think it's out, we can come and check and make sure that it is out and make sure that there's no danger of it starting back again.
Okay. Well, that's really good to know, because sometimes fire can get into a place that we don't know about, and we can't see it. But you guys have special tools to be able to find those possibly hidden fires that might be.
Yeah, we have a thermal imaging camera that we can kind of look at and just see if there's any heat or anything going anywhere, things like that. We can kind of look at and just make sure there's no fire there.
Okay. So as we talk about these things, what would you say is the most important safety device for someone to have in their home?
I would say a smoke alarm is a very important one to have in your home.
Smoke alarm number one. Yeah.
Just because if you're asleep, a lot of times people think, well, I'll smell the smoke and I'll wake up. But usually that's not the case because of the carbon monoxide and different things in the smoke. You just stay asleep. So that smoke alarm, it will be able to start going off and wake you up and give you that alert to let you get out.
Now, smoke alarms, are they real expensive?
They're pretty affordable to have. They're pretty cheap. You can get one at Walmart or Lowe's and different things. If you want to call the fire department, we have some that have been donated to us on grant money, or State Farm has helped us get some. And we have those. So if you need one in the city of Jonesboro, call us and we'll come out and install it for you.
And you'll go to someone's home and check their house to look at and give them some fire prevention tips?
We can do that. We can also give them fire prevention tips as we check their smoke alarm.
Right.
And just kind of help them to come up with an escape plan if they need that. We can do whatever they need us to do.
Now, how important is that escape plan? If say I'm in my home with my family and the smoke alarm goes off, everybody's asleep, and now the smoke alarm goes off, and we need to get out. How important is that to have that escape plan on the front end?
It's very important because what we practice or what we plan out is what we're going to do in an emergency situation. So if we have no plan, then we may not get out. So it's nice to think of my two ways out. What would I do if I were in my bedroom and I couldn't get out the front door? Where would I go? A lot of times when we think about an escape plan, we think about looking at our windows. Are we able to open them? Are they operational? A lot of times our small children may not know how to unlock them, and so they may not be able to lift them up. So have we taught them kind of those things? Sometimes we put bars on our windows because we're afraid of somebody breaking in on us. If we had a fire, would we be able to get out? Would we be able to get those bars off? Or maybe we painted, and then if we painted, what happens to the windows? Well, now it gets stuck.
Okay, yeah.
So all those things we want to think about in advance, because at 3 o'clock in the morning when that smoke alarm goes off and you can't get out the front door, where are you going to go? What can you do? So having that plan and practicing that plan is very important if you want to save your life.
So tell me about fire extinguishers for a minute. Does it take special training to use a fire extinguisher?
They're pretty easy to use. We always use the acronym PASS: pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. So if you'll just pick it up, there's a handle, and if you'll just pull the pin, aim at the base of the fire, squeeze, and sweep, you should be able to put the fire out.
PASS, pass.
PASS, pass.
That sounds real simple to remember, and fire extinguishers are good to have in the kitchen for grease fires because you don't want to throw water on it.
Yeah,
right.
It's nice to have that.
But should we have them other places in the house to?
You
to
can have
use?
We'll have them there in the kitchen. You can have them in other places if you want. You can use them even in your car or different things like that. If you have a car fire, there's different ways you can put them, but have them close to an exit so that you're already almost out if you do that. What we don't want people to do is try to put the fire out, and next thing you know, they're stuck in their home.
Oh, they
can't get out.
Don't get trapped, yeah.
So we would rather, if you don't think you can handle the fire, or if you're afraid to use it, then get on out and let us come and do it, because that's our job. We could go in there and put the fire out. We have our protective gear and different things that we can do. So just protect yourself. We want you to get out of the fire, not to be a firefighter, really.
So if somebody has a fire and they call the fire department, what would you tell them that they need to do? What would you tell them that they need to tell the dispatcher, and then also what to do while they're waiting for the fire department to arrive?
Well, the first thing we want you to do is get out. So get yourself, get your family out, and then have a meeting place so that you know that everybody's out.
Part of that escape plan.
Part of the escape plan. So have a meeting place somewhere that everyone knows that this is where we're going to be. And then when you call dispatch, you can let them know your address, where the fire is, if you know that. You can actually tell them everyone's out, or if there's somebody still missing, that you can tell them that on the radio so that we know when we get there where we can go in and get that person out quickly. Just several things like that. Don't go back in.
Okay.
We don't want you going back in to try to get your pets or your toys or anything like that. Leave that to us, and we'll try to protect whatever we can.
A lot of us have pets. They're part of our family, and they're very important to us. Is there anything particular about having pets that we should know about in an event like this?
Well, if you're going out and you can grab one and do so, but if not, usually those pets can find their way out.
Okay.
So just let them do that. But if they can't, then that's our job to go and try to get them.
Yeah,
We don't want anybody going back in and trying to save the pet, and the next thing you know, not only is the pet in trouble, but also the person is too.
But definitely let the firefighters know that they're
Yep.
you haven't your dog might still be in there.
Let us know that there's an animal in there, or a cat, a dog, whatever it may be, and we'll try to find it and we'll pull it out. We do have CPR masks and different things for pets, so that we can actually try to do some CPR on them.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, this is October. We're getting ready to go into the fall. Weather's getting cooler, and we're coming up on the holiday season. What tips do you have for those folks out there about going into the fall when it comes to fire prevention?
Well, one thing we see a lot of during the fall and different holidays is candles. So when you have those candles, don't have anything that can catch on fire near those candles. Try to make sure that they do not get knocked over or anything like that, out of the way of children playing with them, because we don't want that to happen. Also, when we think about turkey season, I guess you could call it, when we start cooking turkeys, a lot of people try to deep fry those turkeys, and you wouldn't ever want to try to deep fry a frozen turkey, because all that liquid will cause it to expand. Next thing you know, you have a fire also in that way. So don't cook a frozen turkey.
I tried to do that one time and made sure that I did it outside, and I made a pretty bad mess when I did it.
Yep, it can be very dangerous if you do that. And then a lot of times with Christmas trees, we don't want a heating source close to those Christmas trees or anything like that, because they can start on fire. A lot of times if we have a live Christmas tree, we want to be sure that we have it in some sort of water or something like that to keep it moist, because otherwise it can start on fire pretty easy. Next thing you know, you got a pretty bad fire in your house.
So as the weather starts getting cooler, people start using space heaters more, and give us some ideas about making sure we stay safe with those.
Try to keep about 3 foot distance around your
Okay.
space heater, so you don't have anything close to it. And try to keep it away from the bed, because if we put it up close to our bed when we get cold at night, it can start the bed sheets on fire and different things like that. So just keep those things out of the way.
As we go into the fall and weather's getting cooler, and we've got a lot of things that are happening, and we tend to get distracted sometimes with different things, but we want to make sure that we keep a focus always on fire safety. So give us a recap of what you want us to know about fire safety and Fire Prevention Month.
Well, we want you to try to prevent fires as much as possible. So don't leave anything unattended while you're cooking it.
Okay.
Don't play with matches or
Right.
lighters, things like that. If you do have a fire, then we want you to get out and then stay out. Have those 2 ways out. Have that escape plan. Be sure that everyone knows what that plan is, where they're going to go, and then make sure that everyone practices that at least twice a year, so that we
Okay.
know at 3 o'clock in the morning, I know how I'm going to get out. I know where I'm going to go when I get out. And then let us know. Call the fire department when we get there. We'll help that in as much as we can. Be sure you have a working smoke alarm. If you don't have a working smoke alarm, call the fire department, and we'll come put one in for you.
Okay.
And make sure that it works. I guess that's it.
Well, Eric, thank you very much for being with us today on Let's Talk Jonesboro, talking about October is Fire Prevention Month, and fire prevention tips are needed all year round. We need to always be looking at that, but we appreciate you being here today, and thank you for joining us on this edition of Let's Talk Jonesboro.